It was January 2015 and I made 2 phone calls. One was to my sister to share her the news, and she said, well, you always knew this day was going to come. The second phone call was to Triathlon Australia. How can I continue to do triathlon? And they said to me in January 2015, Katie, did you know that para-triathlon is a sport and it's debuting at Rio in 2016? Would you be interested in trying out? The first 5 years of my life I didn't hear a lot. It was something Mum and Dad had noticed, but I weren't quite sure. I was always quite competitive. Sport was a big part of our upbringing. You didn't necessarily need that hearing. You're just in the moment, you're playing the sport. You probably feel free. I really enjoyed being on the sporting field for that reason. I didn't feel restricted by my hearing loss. I found out about my eye condition when I was 22 and I had to see the ophthalmologist. She said, Katie, the reason for your hearing loss is you have Usher syndrome. That's why you're struggling to see at night. That's why you're struggling to see an underground car park, is that you're losing your vision. So I got very active in running and started doing half marathons, looking for that weekend challenge. Then it got to the point where riding was no longer safe. My ophthalmologist told me at the age of 39, Katie, you're now legally blind, it's not safe for you to ride. That's when the para-triathlon journey started, and fast forward, there I was with my guide McKeely Jones. We would go to Rio in the sport of para-triathlon at Copacabana Beach with Jesus Redeemer in the background. I am surrounded by the 10 greatest para-triathletes in the world, and we're all on that floating platoon, and the race is about to start, and it was almost silence. You could hear the birds in the background, just the waves of the ocean. You're holding on the edge of the floating platoon, you're looking at your guide, and there's this look in her eyes, and she said to me, KK, you're going to really need to hurt today. And I remember I didn't flinch. I thought, yep, I'm going to get this done. At that point, the gun goes off and it's game on. And I didn't have a great swim. I think I was 5th or 6th out of the water, so we had a lot of work ahead of us. I remember grabbing onto McKeely's elbow as she helps guide me out of that water into the transition. Right foot, left foot. And then we accelerate out of that transition. McKeely's like, up, out of the saddle, push hard. And the whole 20 kilometres, I'm just listening to her cues. It's now thinking about dismounting off that bike, getting ready for the run. The run is my favourite leg. I feel free in the run. I don't feel I'm so reliant on my guide, even though we're tethered together. I hear her say, relax your breathing, relax your shoulders, focus. The whole run, I was waiting for McKeely to say, lift, you need to lift the pace, and she didn't. McKeely said, we're on the finish line, KK. You can relax now. But I wasn't ready to switch off. I kept running hard all the way until there it was. And I never forget holding that banner in my hands. And my mum and dad and my friends and family in the background, and knowing they were all with me in that moment on that day in Rio, Copacabana Beach. With disability, I find you need to allow yourself that space to think about the things that you're fearful of and acknowledge that. I think like everything, you have to find a way forward, and I don't like to use the word losing. I gain from my disability because it teaches me so many things. It's opened my world up to the Paralympic movement. People like Denny Detoro, 7-time Paralympian, to Sport Access Foundation, the charity I founded to help kids with disability. That's what Usher syndrome's done for me. That's what sight loss has done for me.